There's a question almost nobody sits with long enough to actually answer. Not what do you do for a living, not where are you from, not even what do you believe. The question is simpler than all of that, and somehow harder. Who are you underneath everything you've been told to become? Most of us spend our entire lives becoming fluent in the world outside us. We learn how to read other people, how to win their approval, how to predict what they want before they ask for it. We get good, sometimes brilliant, at understanding everyone except the one person we actually have to live with every single day. Over 2,000 years ago, an ancient Chinese philosopher named Lao Tzu put this exact problem into a single sentence that still cuts through the noise today. Knowing others is wisdom. Knowing yourself is enlightenment. Read that again. This isn't dismissing the ability to understand other people. That's real, useful, valuable. It's simply pointing out that it's the smaller skill. The deeper one, the rarer one, is turning that same attention inward. And almost nobody does it, because almost nobody was ever taught how. Today, we're going to walk through what that idea actually means. Not as an ancient riddle to admire from a distance, but as a working method you can actually use. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand why the version of you that feels normal right now might be the least authentic version you've ever been, and what it actually takes to come home to yourself. Here's the uncomfortable starting point. If knowing yourself were natural, everyone would already be doing it. It isn't a switch you flip. It's a skill that gets buried early, and it gets buried on purpose, not maliciously, but structurally, by how we're all raised. Think about how a child starts out: loud when they're happy, honest when they're upset, completely unfiltered, and then, slowly, correction after correction teaches them which parts of that are acceptable and which parts need to be hidden, not through one dramatic moment, but through 1,000 small ones. A raised eyebrow. Hey, that's enough now. A reward for compliance and a cold shoulder for honesty. By the time most people reach adulthood, they've built an incredibly sophisticated internal filter. It runs automatically. It decides what to say, how to act, which feelings are appropriate to show before the person even realizes a decision was made. However useful this filter is for surviving in a group, it has nothing to do with who you actually are. It's a costume, and most people forget they ever put it on. And it's worse now than it's ever been. 100 years ago, you were shaped by your family and your immediate community, and that was it. Today, you're shaped by all of that, plus a constant stream of curated lives on a screen, plus algorithms quietly learning what keeps you scrolling and feeding you more of it. Every like, every comparison, every carefully filtered version of somebody else's life adds one more layer to the costume. It's no longer just about fitting into a village. It's about performing for an audience that never stops watching, even when nobody is actually there. This is why so many people, even successful ones, describe an odd, hollow feeling in quiet moments. Not sadness exactly, more like static. A sense that they're fluent in performing a life, but strangers to the one living it. You can win at every external measure society hands you. The job title, the relationship status, the follower count, and still lie awake at night without the faintest idea what you actually want, separate from what you've been trained to want. To go deeper here, there's one core idea worth understanding. The Tao, usually translated as the way. It isn't a rulebook or a religion. It's closer to the natural current that everything in existence already moves with. Water flowing downhill, seasons turning, a tree growing toward light without being told to. The radical claim behind this ancient teaching was that human beings carry this same natural current. Before the conditioning, before the roles, before the performance, there is a version of you that doesn't need to be built, only uncovered. There's a classic image for this: the uncarved block. A raw piece of wood before anyone has shaped it into a chair, a bowl, a decoration. The block isn't valuable because of what it's been carved into. It's valuable because it's still whole, full of every possibility, undefined by any single use. Picture someone who spent 20 years becoming excellent at a career they never actually chose for themselves. They followed the path that was praised, the one that made relatives proud at family dinners, the one that looked responsible on paper, and they got good at it. Genuinely good. But somewhere in the process, the block got carved into a very specific, very narrow shape, and the rest of what they might have been quietly got planned away. Sawdust nobody ever thought to sweep up and look at again. That's not a failure of willpower. That's just what happens when nobody ever asks you to sit with the block before it gets carved. Somewhere along the way, most of us stopped being the block and became the finished object, carved by parents, culture, school, jobs, relationships, algorithms feeding us who to be next. Every carve made us more useful to the world around us and slightly less ours. Finding yourself, in this sense, isn't about adding some new identity on top of the old one. It's closer to sanding away the parts that were never really you in the first place. Here's where it gets interesting, because this is the part almost everyone gets backwards. If you've ever tried to find yourself through sheer effort, journaling harder, reading every self-help book, forcing a 5-year plan, you may have noticed something frustrating. The harder you grip the question, the further the answer seems to slip away. There's a name for the alternative in this tradition, Wu Wei. It's often translated as non-action, which makes it sound like doing nothing, but that's not quite it. It's closer to effortless action, action that isn't forced against your nature, but that flows with it. Like a river doesn't struggle to go downhill, it simply follows what it already is. Apply that to self-discovery, and the implication is almost uncomfortable. You cannot force your way into authenticity. You cannot white-knuckle your way to your true self through willpower alone, because willpower is often just another mask. A more disciplined one, but still a performance aimed at some idea of who you're supposed to be. What actually works is closer to subtraction than addition. Stop forcing, stop performing, stop constantly narrating your life for an invisible audience. And in the space that opens up when you finally stop, something quieter starts to become audible. The part of you that was never trying to prove anything at all. There's a second image worth sitting with here. Water. Water seems like the weakest thing in the world. It has no fixed shape. It yields to whatever container holds it. You can push your hand straight through it with no resistance at all. And yet, given enough time, water carves through solid stone, not by fighting the rock, by persistently, patiently being exactly what it is. Most of us have been taught that finding your true self means becoming louder, more decisive, more rigid in your convictions, carving your identity into stone so nobody can chip away at it. This ancient way of thinking suggests almost the opposite. The people most disconnected from themselves are often the most rigid, clinging tightly to a fixed idea of who they are, because underneath, they're afraid that if they loosen their grip, there'll be nothing there. Real self-knowledge looks more like water than stone, flexible but not shapeless, yielding but never disappearing. It doesn't need to dominate a room to know exactly what it is. It can move around an obstacle instead of smashing into it and still get exactly where it's going. So how do you actually live this instead of just nodding along to the metaphor? The first step is building in genuine stillness. Not stillness as another task to optimize, but real unstructured quiet, without a screen, without a podcast, without anything demanding your attention. The noise of constant stimulation is precisely what keeps people from ever hearing their own nature. Even 10 unstructured minutes a day starts to change what you notice about yourself. Next, notice where you're performing. Not to judge yourself for it. Everyone performs to some degree. It's part of functioning in a society. Just notice. Where do you soften your opinions to avoid conflict? Where do you perform confidence you don't feel, or calm you don't feel? Simply naming these moments as they happen begins to loosen their grip. Beyond that, stop over-defining yourself. Every rigid label you attach to your identity, even ones that feel positive, is a small carve into the uncarved block. You don't have to abandon your goals or your values, but hold them a little more loosely. Let yourself be a person who is still becoming, rather than a fixed character who already has all the answers. Spend real time in nature if you can, not as a productivity hack, not to post about it, just to be somewhere that still runs on its own rhythm instead of a notification schedule. There's something about watching a season change or a river find its way around a rock that quietly reminds your nervous system what unforced growth actually looks like. And finally, trust the small, quiet inclinations, not the loud ones dressed up as passion, and not the ones you perform for an audience. The quiet, almost embarrassingly simple pulls. What do you actually enjoy when nobody's watching and nothing is being proven? Those quiet inclinations are closer to your real nature than any dramatic declaration of who you are. Here's the strange comfort in all of this. Self-knowledge was never framed in this ancient teaching as some far-off destination you have to earn through years of struggle. If anything, it was framed as a return. You're not building someone new. You're unlearning the carvings that were never really you to begin with and letting what was underneath finally breathe. Knowing others is wisdom. It'll get you through a career, a room full of strangers, a negotiation. But knowing yourself, actually sitting still long enough to hear your own current beneath all the noise, that's the harder, rarer thing. That's why it was called enlightenment. So the real question isn't whether you'll ever find yourself as if you're a stranger lost somewhere out there. It's whether you're willing to stop carving for long enough to notice you were the block all along. Thanks for watching. And if this resonated, stick around because there's a lot more of this ancient wisdom worth unpacking.